I, F32, told my husband, M31, family I make more than him and now he's mad at everybody?
I'm a nurse and he works as a firefighter. We both make great money separately. Combined we're off really well. I make about 15K more than him. We split the bills down evenly as that's what works best for us.
We do not need to depend on each other as we have enough to do whatever we like.
So he's not money dependent on me and I'm not on him. We were over his family house yesterday. His siblings started talking about pay and how much they make.
Everybody was just talking about their financial situation. Somebody asked me how much I make. Somebody asked my husband how much he makes.
We both said it and everything was fine.
Until about 5 minutes later one of his brothers started jokingly said, "I thought you were the breadwinner," to my husband.
It was funny. Everybody but my husband laughed. At this point everybody starts jokingly shit-talking to each other. It was all in fun about all of our salaries. My husband even joined in the shit-talking.
Until one of his siblings told him, "Shut up, only the bill payers are talking."
This was funny as it wasn't even the rude thing said during this time. I laughed. My husband instantly got up and started screaming at everybody. Long story short, the argument turned very real between everybody quickly.
We immediately left.
I tried to talk but husband has just been silent.
He's at work now.
I'm at a loss of word and don't really know what to do or say anymore. What a misleading title. He's not mad at everybody because you make more than him.
He's mad at everybody because they bullied, belittled, and demeaned him, yourself included.
That's a shitty thing to do to your partner. You're supposed to be a team. In 28 years of marriage, I have never ganged up on my husband with his family. Regardless of the situation or the topic. I thought you were the breadwinner, is one thing, that's lighthearted. Shut up, the bill payers are talking, is crossing a line.
Where were you to back up your husband to say, actually, he pays half the bills? Apologize to your husband and do better.
I mean, what the sibling said wasn't funny and was pretty rude. I can understand your husband being upset even if I think his reaction was over the top.
Damn. When I read the title I wanted to be on your side, but it sounds like he has no problem with people knowing you make more. He has an issue with everyone bullying and belittling him for it.
You were super rude, laughing at those comments.
So yeah, I suggest apologizing to your husband for that. The joke wasn't funny, and you could have his back.
He is a bill payer, and you should have stepped up. I mean, that's where you should have chimed in with, "Oh, he pays his fair share, and then some, or something." Technically he pays more, percentage-wise of his salary, than you do.
Y'all are a team and should, at least outwardly, be defending and hyping each other up.
It was funny. If the target of the joke isn't laughing, it wasn't a funny joke. It was just bullying.
The first time, okay, mistake on your part, it was a bad taste attempt at a joke. The second time the same kind of joke is made and your husband is not laughing for the second time, you double down.
I would be pretty upset at my friend doing that, much less my spouse. His family pointed and laughed at him and you joined in, twice. Is this considered cheating? I'm 37 female, husband M38.
My F37, husband, M38, went on a business trip and spent time with a colleague and didn't tell me about it. They spent the Saturday at 2 bars from about 8 p.m. until 1 a.m. Then on the Sunday they met around 3:30 p.m. and were together until around 9:30 p.m. playing pool etc. and midweek they met around 9 p.m. and were together until 2 a.m. playing bar games etc. He said it was purely platonic, no sexual chemistry.
She is just a colleague and someone to pass the time with in a new city. He sees how it may look bad but assures me it wasn't like that.
He said he didn't tell me because he knows I wouldn't have liked it because I have a problem with him having girl mates. He also saved her name in his phone with a fake name. What should I make of this? Is it unreasonable of me to say one of my boundaries is you can't spend prolonged one-to-one time with a female colleague especially late into the night?
Or is this controlling? Update. So here's how this story developed. 3 months later he went on another business trip and they did sleep together. They slept together on subsequent business trips over the duration of almost a year.
How did I find out about the actual affair? The woman emailed me and since then I've had full disclosure with my husband. Yet he maintains vehemently that that first trip where they hung out so much was purely non-sexual and the relationship developed later.
Update 2. So the affair happened last year. I found out 5 months ago while I was pregnant. I have applied for a divorce.
The fake name is what makes me uncomfortable.
I don't think spending time with a work colleague on a work trip is cheating by default, but saving their name under a different name is something altogether different.
That's something you do when you are hiding something. Do you have a problem with him having girlmates?
I spent 6 years with a girl who would be shitty every time I spent time with female friends, and I got to a point where I was lying to her until I got the balls to up and leave. He shouldn't have lied though, as he's hiding it for a reason. If that reason is your insecurities or because he's up to no good, it doesn't bode well for the relationship. He didn't tell you because he knew this is where it would end up. He was behaving in a way you don't approve of. Clearly he's not happy about your boundaries.
Every couple gets to establish their own rules about what's acceptable within the marriage. Him having platonic lady friends is an area the two of you don't agree on and will need to come to a compromise on, or this will get worse.
The saving her number with a different name is not okay.
Boundaries are limits you set for yourself. Boundaries are not ways to control the actions of other people.
Boundaries define what you do when someone crosses your line. Baby on the way. Is my 38F partner 35M lying, or does he have terminal cancer?
I, 38F, have recently been informed that my partner, 35M, has a brain tumor. But his story is full of inconsistencies and, as insane as this may sound, I think he might be making it up.
I am 23 weeks pregnant with our first child. I received a call from his childhood friend who works with him on Wednesday. He was frantic and said that he was just told by their boss that my partner has a brain tumor the size of a baseball. We were both in utter shock and disbelief.
He has had issues with drug abuse and pathological lying in the past, so we both were wondering if it could be a lie.
I went home and looked at his MS Teams chat. He works from home quite a bit, and saw a thread with his office manager saying the following.
They're going to try stereotactic radiosurgery.
Try and shrink it. Minimum positive outcome would be to slow it down. It really depends on how successful it is. If this doesn't work, they want to try LIT.
It's a really precise laser, but they'd have to cut a piece of my skull open.
I confronted him about it and he immediately got angry. He refused to cooperate, wouldn't answer my questions, and told me he didn't want me to know about it because I have enough to worry about and that he planned to take care of this on his own. He refused to acknowledge my panic and told me don't worry about it. He would not give any details about what it was called, detailed diagnosis, prognosis, treatment plan, etc.
He claimed he had a Dr. APPT on Friday and I insisted on going with him to hear it for myself. He fought and finally agreed, only to tell me 24 hours later, Thursday evening, after I had requested the day off of work, that he was confused and actually did not have an appointment that day.
He wouldn't say who the APPT was with or where it was at. He then said his appointment is actually on this upcoming Wednesday with a specialist at UCLA Medical.
I'll be in Nashville on a biz trip at that time, so that is quite convenient.
I asked him to see some records or test results, which he refused. Said he had deleted every speck of info so I wouldn't find out. Finally on Friday night, I got him to give me some detail as follows. He has been experiencing extreme lethargy and headaches for months.
The beginning of this month, his boss found him passed out in his truck outside their office for hours, which set everything off. He made an APPT with his PCP who did some blood work and found that the white blood cell count was off.
He first said he did a CT scan, then said it was an MRI, and said they found a large tumor the size of a baseball under his brain.
Due to its location, it's not operable, so they suggested a stereostatic radiosurgery treatment.
He completed that on Thursday the 8th.
Next steps are to see if that worked and potentially do more SR treatments. That's all he knows. Again, I asked what type of tumor it was and he said he didn't know. He would have to Google it. Finally, last night, he sent me an article on anaplastic astrocytoma and said it was grade 3.
He gave no other details and said he won't even read the article.
He has been incredibly cold and detached regarding this, which has me feeling insanely confused.
Our son is due in December and he's shown zero emotion or empathy about how this could affect me or our child. When pleading with him, I mentioned our son growing up without a father and he said, "Whatever, I have life insurance."
I understand that this could be a reaction to the fear and trauma of such a diagnosis, but it seems pretty extreme. He threatened to leave when I mentioned telling his mother, and continues to insist he's just going to take care of it and I should not worry. But at this point, even if he didn't want me to know, the cat is out of the bag and I feel it's only normal to now share the info so I can process and plan accordingly.
We rely on his income to survive, and if this is real, I don't know if he will be able to work.
Backstory on the lying is that we met on Hinge 3 years ago. He told me he owned a company, owned properties, did work in Romania. Just things that didn't add up.
It was all too fantastical. When I would press him for proof, he'd dig his heels in deeper and even produce clearly fake documents as supporting evidence. It all came to a head a few months later when he got in a car accident and his mom found out he was on drugs.
I finally met his mom, dad, and best friend, the one previously mentioned, and they all confirmed his tendency to tell tall tales.
His drug of choice is benzos. We broke up for a while, but then he got his act together and begged for me back.
Went to therapy, did what I asked him to do, and I agreed to let bygones be bygones and start fresh.
Since then, things have been great. We moved in together and decided to start a family. The baby was planned, and we've both been really excited about it.
So, while it may seem insane for this to be a lie, I could also fathom a story where he's back on the benzos heavy and hasn't been performing at work. He gets called out by his boss and makes up this story to cover his A and save his job. This is why he doesn't tell me or his best friend. He figures this will buy him some time until he can get back on track and then tell his boss, "Great news, the cancer is clear," and just move forward without me ever finding out. Apologies for the insanely long read, and I hope this is an appropriate place to post this. But the lack of detail he's provided, the seemingly lightning speed process from discovery to SR treatment, no evident downtime from treatment, zero available medical records, online portals, appointment reminders, etc., and his complete lack of emotion has me stuck in disbelief.
Honestly, I'd give anything for this to be a lie, and unless I can see some concrete evidence from him, my brain just cannot accept it. No, he doesn't have cancer. Think about the amount of paperwork and doctor's appointments you have for your pregnancy. He doesn't have one note?
One RX? One document outlining a treatment plan?
Who's his oncologist?
His neurologist? He has a history of drug abuse and lying and is an unreliable partner. You need to take stock of your life without him. My dad and my sister both had brain cancer. Dad had glioblastoma and sister and I also work in oncology. He wouldn't have an actual diagnosis of AA3 without a tissue biopsy. So based only on CT or MRI, they couldn't accurately say you have an anaplastic astrocytoma grade 3.
They would say, "We suspect you have a high-grade glioma that is inoperable." Not even going to address anything other than that in your post. 97% sure he's lying unless he's seeing a psychic physician. My dad's neurosurgeon was able to tell my dad's diagnosis based on imaging because my dad's was the most aggressive type of brain cancer. Went to therapy, did what I asked him to do. Did he? Did he really? You just keep making the wildest choices. Of course he doesn't have a tumor.
Why would you learn about your partner's cancer through his friend who learned through the boss?
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. He's lying and he's nuts. And this is the guy whose child you're bringing into this world? Wow. He's still a drug-using pathological liar.
He was passed out due to drugs or alcohol when his boss found him, spun up a story to cover that, and is lying through his teeth to you now that you've inconveniently found out what she's saying at work.
You are with an addict. He's lying, you know he's lying. He knows he's lying. Do you really want this to be your child's life?
My husband, 50M, tells small lies and I, 50F, am not sure what to say. There have been several times we've been out with friends and he's exaggerated a story.
I've never called him out on it.
Something so silly happened the other day and I just cannot let it go.
He was on the phone and didn't realize I was in earshot. I had some taffy from Trader Joe's.
He ate a piece while he was on the phone with his friend and apologized for chewing and said a buddy of his got him some taffy in popular beach town, and he's eating it. Why would he feel the need to lie about something insignificant like that? The thing is, he is extremely educated and a very talented musician. He's impressive enough without having to bullshit people, and I don't get it. My ex was a chronic liar about the most stupid shit, like what he ate for lunch. Turned out he was also a liar about big shit, like having a secret apartment so he could fuck his employee.
Just saying. Compulsive liar. I had a friend like that and it always felt like he was trying to impress me even though we were already friends.
He's built up a persona that he's projecting to his friends.
It's a form of manipulation.
It doesn't seem like much, but think about it this way. He's saying his friend bought him some taffy from that famous beach town. The person hearing that thinks, he must be a great friend, for his friend to buy him gifts while they're on vacation. He's trying to show that he is valued by others, and highly thought of, in a subtle way. He's training people to think of him highly.
He wants to appear charismatic and popular. People who lie this easily about small things are also lying about big things. It's a lifestyle. I'd keep a close eye on your finances and make sure an STD test is included in your annual checkup. Lying liars lie. I couldn't live with this, but I was raised by a compulsive liar. I'm surprised you haven't caught him in bigger lies.
The problem for me, aside from the dishonesty, is the inauthenticity of it all. Like, who the hell is he even? Does he even fucking know? I'll bet you $1 zillion he'll say, I don't know, which may or not be true. That is creepy. I once dated someone like that.
Wish I'd broken up as soon as I noticed the little lies.
It's not a good sign.